So, Mickey Mouse has just entered the public domain. You know what that means. But seriously, is it a good thing that Mickey Mouse is finally in the public domain? At first, it seems like an obvious yes because it would lead to more creative works being made, and it would be a major step to prevent Disney's, may as well be, monopoly on the film industry. However, when Disney is very stingy on their properties, and how public domain figures are being used in recent years, it may not be such a good thing that Mickey Mouse is in the public domain as one would hope. And I hate to say this, but I think this is gonna help Disney more than harm it, at least in the short term. So let's talk about whether or not Mickey Mouse entering the public domain is good for the public. Now before we start talking about Mickey Mouse entering the public domain, we need to talk about the copyright law. A copyright protects an author's and artist's original work so that they can produce and profit off of their work without the fear of it being stolen. To get this type of protection, all the author would need to do is create their work and release it out to the public. How long the copyright lasts depends on when and how the work was made. In the case of Mickey Mouse, it would be 95 years from his inception, which is Steamboat Willie, made in 1928. Let's make this clear before we move on that only the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse is in the public domain. Every other version of Mickey Mouse made past that is still legally owned by Disney, which leads to the first problem with Mickey Mouse being in the public domain: people believing that all versions of Mickey Mouse are in the public domain. Now luckily I haven't seen anybody make this mistake on YouTube, at least for right now. I still bet that a lot of people think that all versions of Mickey Mouse are in the public domain. They're gonna make something with him in it, and they'll get their asses sued by Disney. It's not that big of a deal, but it's still worth pointing out. Now before we get into the more negative consequences of this, let's talk about the positive aspects. For starters, it allows new artists and creators to make content that involves the original version of Mickey Mouse. So rather than Disney having full control of how Mickey Mouse is presented, anybody can put Mickey Mouse in different scenarios or different genres that would have never been imagined by Disney, whether it be for the better or the worse. Don't worry, we're gonna talk about this later. But more importantly, it's the first major obstacle that's preventing Disney from having a monopoly over the entire film industry. While 2023 was already halting Disney's growth significantly, having their most iconic character entering the public domain means that they're gonna start losing their position as one of the biggest movie studios. Which means they either have to fight to keep him, or they will have to make new ideas for him that will be distinct compared to the competition. Knowing Disney, I think we all know what they choose to do. Here's the major problem with using Mickey Mouse in your work right now. Let's say that you create a work that only uses the original design of Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie, and you decide to either make merchandise off of it, or make it where it looks like Disney made it. Well, Disney is gonna try to sue you anyways over the claim that you're infringing on their trademark, because while the copyright for the Steamboat Willie Mickey has expired, Disney's trademark over Mickey Mouse is still well and healthy. This is where everything gets murky, because what counts as infringing on their trademark? Is selling merchandise based off the original design an infringement? What about just using Mickey Mouse's name? Or how about a project that destroys Mickey's character? And don't you dare try to make it look like Disney made it, unless you want Disney's lawyers going,
Hi-ho, it's off to Bootly go.
And because nobody, not even Disney, knows what counts as infringing on their trademark, Disney is most likely gonna sue anybody that uses the original Steamboat Willie Mickey if they believe that there's even a slight chance of infringement. which will lead to a Supreme Court case over Mickey's use in the public. And at best, the Supreme Court will rule that Disney has no right to sue anybody over the original design of Mickey Mouse. And at worst, Disney will keep their rights to Mickey Mouse, and possibly preventing all their other characters from entering the public domain. But in the meantime, what can Mickey Mouse be used for right now? And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But besides that, what do you get when a family-friendly character goes into the public domain? Crappy slasher films! The thing with the character entering the public domain in the first couple of years is that people are gonna find a way to cash grab on it as quickly as they can, and apparently the easiest way to do that is through a cheap horror movie. Obviously, these are cashing in on shock value, and horror movies have really good profitability since they're really cheap to make. The issue, though, is that they just use the character, and that's it! No clever commentary about the character or what it represents, no original story, cookie-cutter characters at best, there's probably gonna be cheap jump scares, and really has no reason to exist other than, oh, it's a normally innocent character trying to kill everybody. Hopefully that changes in the near future, but as of right now, what's the point of Mickey Mouse being in the public domain when there's barely any uses for it, and the uses are just plain out garbage? This is really less of a question of if it's good or not for Mickey Mouse to be in the public domain, and more of how Disney is going to react to this, and how people will use Mickey Mouse going forward. While Mickey Mouse entering the public domain is a big step to creative freedom, it is in the gray area of the public domain, which is the worst place any work can be in. At least before 2024, everybody knew that all versions of Mickey Mouse are owned by Disney. Now that the copyright has expired for the Steamboat Willie Mickey, people are assuming that they could use Mickey Mouse for just about anything as long as it's based off the original design. But due to Mickey Mouse being trademark protected by Disney, innocent people who might not know better or use Mickey Mouse in an actually legal way can still get sued by Disney, and Disney can make money off of those lawsuits, or fight until the defendant has no money left. The only 100% safe way to use Mickey Mouse is to upload the 2 short films that went into the public domain, which even then Disney can still copyright claim them because they have a trademark over the Steamboat Whistle. My suggestion to all of you is just don't use Mickey Mouse in anything. Yes, the original version is in the public domain, but it's not worth risking that if Disney tries to copyright claim your video or sue you. So do your donkeys a favor and don't use anything involving Mickey so Disney won't sue them. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more content. And don't worry, I'll make another video in the near future.